Pinchas, Hashem begins by rewarding Pinchas for his act of bravery and, in fact, putting his life in danger in order to save the Jewish people from the immorality that was going on at the end of the last week's parasha. Even though Moshe then tried to take control of the situation, he faced essentially a mutiny from the tribe of Shimon when this man Zimri sided with those doing the promiscuity rather than those trying to control the situation. And Pinchas stands in, kills Zimri, risking his own life in the process, because our rabbis tell us that not only could Zimri literally have killed him, right, just in terms of the fight, somebody comes running towards you with a spear, there was a chance that Zimri would have turned around and killed Pinchas. But in fact, had Zimri killed Pinchas, there would halachically have been no consequences. Zimri would have been able to get away with it. So Pinchas really was taking it, so Zimri had nothing holding him back. Pinchas really was taking his life into his own hands in his coming forward to save the Jewish people. And Hashem says, L'chein emor, at the beginning of the parasha, Hineni notein lo et briti shalom. Behold, I give him my covenant of peace. This Brit of shalom. And Rashi says, what does it mean, a covenant of shalom? He says it means like a declaration of friendship from Hashem. Like you'll have sometimes somebody will become a citizen of honor of the city, right? Or registered as an official friend of this organization. The example I always think of is when you look at Yad Vashem, they have the garden of the righteous amongst the nations. Now, the truth is, there are many, many righteous amongst the nations. As the Rambam tells us, whoever is, and from the Gemara, whoever is, believes in Hashem, believes in the Torah, keeps the 7 mitzvot that were given to all of mankind, right? For somebody who's not Jewish, that's all he needs to go to heaven. There are thousands and millions of righteous amongst the nations. Yet there is something specific about a Yad Vashem accredited righteous amongst the nations. For them it means somebody who has saved Jewish lives during the Holocaust, often again at great risk to their own. So that's how Rashi understands this covenant of peace. It is a covenant of friendship. It is a covenant of approval of that Pinchas is a registered, quote-unquote, friend of Hashem. And the Maggid of Dubna asks, he says, hold on a second. Why is this the first time we see a reward of this type being mentioned? When we look at rewards given throughout the Torah and things that are promised throughout the Torah, most of the time what they mean, at least on the simple level, most of the time what they refer to is a good life in this world. The Torah tells us about honoring parents, about sending away the mother bird to take the eggs. Leman yitav lach v'arachta yamim. It will be good for you, you will have long days. We see in the second paragraph of the Shema, the Vayayim Shamua, v'natati matar artzachem b'tor. If you listen to and keep the whole Torah, I will give rain in the land at its proper time. Yorel makosh, early and the late rain. You will survive, you will prosper. Leman yubuya meichem, again you will live long. You will have the land of Israel. All of these are very tangible, practical, physical rewards. Now it's true that our sages also said that these hint to more spiritual rewards as well. The Gemara in Kedushin says when the Torah says that man yitav lach v'arachta yamim will be good for you and you have long days, that means for the world that is entirely good and for the days of eternity. In other words, it's really a promise of olam haba. However, on a practical level, on a straightforward level, it's referring to a good life in this world. That, in terms of what it means, it has deeper levels. But in terms of what it says, this is what it is. It's a good life in this world. In fact, Rabbeinu Bachai in the Chovat Halbabot says something absolutely fascinating, is that he says the reason Olam Haba, it's a famous question, why is Olam Haba not mentioned explicitly in the Torah? There are hints to it all over. As Yashir Moshe of Israel, then the Jewish people will sing to Hashem after the crossing of the sea. Should have said they sang. But they will sing in the future after in the world to come, after the resurrection of the dead. So you have these ideas of hints to Olam Haba, but why isn't it mentioned in the Torah? Very famous question. Rabbeinu Bachaya gives a fascinating answer. Is that he says the Jewish people were not ready for that, would not have been motivated, were not sophisticated sufficiently in the generation of the giving of the Torah, the Exodus from Egypt. They were not sufficiently sophisticated that would have motivated them. Right? You say to a child, do X, Y, Z, right? And I'll write you a check. The check, right? You can do huge things which are actually very big favors for him. do XYZ. When you're 18, I'll buy you a car, right? That's huge. But he's not going to be interested, right? When you tell him, do this and I'll give you a chocolate, he'll do it. You'll motivate him better with a chocolate than with a car when he's 18. Why? Because it's based on your level of sophistication and what you're able to understand. And so that, says Rabbeinu Bachaya, is why Olam Haba is not mentioned explicitly in the Torah. Again, it's hinted to, so that as time goes by and the Jewish people leave the slave mentality of Egypt, they become more abstract and sophisticated and are able to understand what goes beyond that. They see that there is far greater reward. But that is what is mentioned explicitly. And the Maggid of Dubno takes the same line of thinking and applies it to Pinchas. And he does it with an analogy. He says that there was a young orphan who was taken in by a family to become a part of the family and to work in the father's business. He worked in the business. That was, you could say, also part of his vocational training, part of the family. This is what he was doing. And, every day he goes to work with them and help sort it out or whatever. At night he's there with the family. And one time they were having a big dinner, having a very nice evening meal. And a client came in for the father, and there was some thing that he needed done and some work and whatever. Father said, listen, we're having our meal, wait till tomorrow. This adopted son says, don't worry, I'll do it right now. Father says, but you're eating. He says, no, I would rather do this to help you out. He stops what he's doing. He goes out and sorts out the whole situation, comes back a couple of hours later. The father sits this young man down and he says, I think we should work out a salary for you. And he says, salary for me? Well, I mean, up till now we haven't had anything along those lines. So the father says it's true. Because up till now, I thought that what you valued was home, food, right? Your basic needs being taken care of. And that for you, payment was your basic needs being taken care of. But you know what I've just seen from what you've done? You've shown me that your service is more important than meals and being taken care of, because you left the meal to go and do what needed to be done. And so therefore, commensurate with the level of your dedication and the level of priority that you give it, I will give you a reward. Because the reward that I've been giving up till now, you have outgrown. And so, says the Maggid of Dubno, it's the same thing here with Pinchas. Pinchas is willing to risk his own life in order to save the Jewish people. So Hashem says what? I should give you life. I should give you life as a reward. You understand very clearly that what you're doing is more important than life itself. You understand very clearly that what you stand for is more valuable than a good, comfortable, long, beautiful life. And so therefore, I promise you explicitly the next level of reward, Briti Shalom, this covenant of peace. Many explanations of exactly what it is. I mentioned Rashi's one, that you're declared a friend of Hashem. But it is this openly spiritual reward. It's something much greater. And the idea here is that sometimes you are only ready to be motivated at a certain level. Sometimes you'll be ready to be motivated much more. Sometimes you will be able to see something more abstract and beyond longer term thinking, more subtle thinking. You won't be as motivated by direct self-interest. But that's part of the journey. And that's the message that Pinchas teaches all of us. That he was able, you have people that they're serving Hashem, but at the end of the day, what they want is the good, comfortable life. You see it by people who are prepared to sacrifice. Yes, I want a relationship with Hashem, but I'm not prepared to get up early in the morning. Right? So what you really want is a relaxed, comfortable life. You'd also like a relationship with Hashem, not Pinchas. Was his first priority, was saying to which he committed himself, heart and soul, and therefore the reward that he gets is over and above that of this world. It's something that really goes beyond. May we all merit to such commitment and to such rewards. Shabbat Shalom.